The volume of private equity deals in South Africa, while we're busy talking about property, is picking up, and with the pace set to accelerate in 2015. CNBC Africa's Benedict Parther found out more for us.
Returns from private equity investments remain largely on par with those from the JSE All Share. The most recent Risk-Cruiser SAVCA, South African Private Equity Performance Report, showed a return rate of 18.5% net of fees over the 10 years to end 2014 for private equity versus 18.8% from the JSE All Share over the same period. SAVCA says that the industry is poised for further growth after a pickup in transactions during the past year.
What we've seen over the last year or two is a definite and a clear recovery in the industry, as we've seen a recovery in a confidence in the global financial sector. So we've seen private equity funds in Southern Africa successfully closing new funds, and in other words, being able to raise new capital, and the follow-on from that is successful deployment of that capital in deal-making. So it was evident in 2013 and 2014 a pickup in transactions and acquisitions.
Well, I think in one sense we're going to see a continuation of the trends of the past. So you've taken this cottage industry into something that's now quite deeply institutionalized and regulated. Many participants, local investors, international investors, investment strategies going from small buyouts into large buyouts into other parts of the continent. And I think we'll see a continuation of that, where we will see more players come in, more investors come in, some more specialization. And I think also just a sharpening up of the practice, where it's become a tougher game.
One expert pointed out that progress within the private equity industry was poised not only for South Africa, but developing countries such as Kenya, Ghana, and other parts of the continent.
I mean, private equity in Africa is a very exciting space at the moment. Africa has emerged as the leading emerging market jurisdiction. It's outstripped the BRICS. And there's a huge amount of interest, and that's because of the fantastic returns that are being achieved within Africa. South Africa is still getting good returns, but I think it's Africa, excluding South Africa, where there's very exciting returns being made, and that's why there's such a lot of interest. And we're actually just seeing that reflected in the amount of capital that's been raised for funds. Obviously, sort of around 2010, it was a very tricky situation. But since then, the amount of capital that's been raised year by year is just increasing exponentially.
Benedict Parther, reporting for CNBC Africa, Cape Town.
Well, in a moment, we're going to be looking at the latest Forbes